This is the Aftermarket Radio Network. Hey, find out how Marc Pons maintains a work-happy, drive-happy culture inside his 9 shops, and be inspired by this very casual interview where I know you'll learn just one thing. From the Aftermarket Radio Network, Carm Capriato here, Remarkable Results Radio. Now, Marc is also the president of ASTA in North Carolina. That's the Automotive Service and Tire Alliance, the folks who bring you ASTE. Marc explains the importance of setting routines to enforce your values, and he says it only takes 15 minutes at the beginning of every day. Can your shop spare 15 minutes? Well, I think you can. And thanks to our partners Apex and Shopware for providing you this episode. I bet we all know a shop owner, service advisor, or technician who truly has gone above and beyond in 2022. Now it's time to nominate them for the 3rd annual Apex Service and Repair Awards. Don't wait. Nominations are due August 31st. Please do me a favor. Go to aapexshow.com/service awards. Print the document so you know what you got to do. You know, ordering parts sucks the joy out of anyone's day, but you can break it up with the parts matrix and order spark plugs in seconds if you use Shopware's native parts catalog. Browse every shelf based on price or fit. On the web, talk to my friends at getshopware.com. Hey, honored for sure to have Marc Pons on the show. Hello, Marc.
Hello, Carm. How are you?
I'm great. Chapel Hill Tire. I don't know what you do every day, but you got 9 stores. Does that keep you busy?
It keeps me busy, but it's a labor of love for sure.
I know, and I want to talk about that. We're going to talk about this love and this happiness and drive happy, work happy, this whole incredible value strategy that you have. I'm in love with it because I spent time on your website, and I just can't wait to talk about it. Marc is also the president of ASTA, A-S-T-A. Now, I think some of you may know ASTA. You may know that it was the merge of the IGONC, the Independent Garage Owners of North Carolina, and the North Carolina Tire Dealers Association, which was NCTDA, right?
That's right.
And sometime in 2021, you guys, we got COVID going on. Let's merge a couple of associations.
We saw there was a lot of overlap, I guess, in what we were doing. And our customers, while not identical, our members, while not identical, were similar in a lot of ways. And we had tire shops that were trying to get better at selling at service. And we had service shops that were trying to do more tires to broaden out their revenue stream. So, associations are about power of numbers. And we figured, by doubling the membership of the 2 organizations, putting us together, we could have a pretty powerful organization. We've got a great board of directors who's passionate about the new organization. And so got a strategic plan down, but we're really trying to do great things to help our members lead the industry.
I love what you said about the power of associations, and there's no doubt 2 great organizations. And I love what you said about the overlap. So let me ask you a question. Should tire shops be doing mechanical, and should mechanical be selling tires?
Absolutely. Why do you want to leave money on the table with your customers? If you're the place that your customers trust and prefer to go for service, why not look to broaden out those services that you offer your customer?
And has this merge in association strategy philosophy moved some of the mechanical guys into doing tires?
I think so. I think that the more that we get our programming out and out in the public, we're going to be able to offer a lot of kind of expert thinking to help our service guys look at tires, look at tire programs. How do I choose if I want to start selling more tires? How do I choose a program that's right for me and those types of things? So
the more I talk to shop owners, get the tours, see inside, look at the equipment they have to do tires, and realize, why should they let their customer go anywhere else? If you want to be a one-stop shop, you got to do tires.
We were exactly the opposite end of that 25 years ago when I got involved with the business. We were 80% of our business was tires. And we would send customers away to go do other work. I never liked, even though we had great relationships with the shops we recommended to, it hurt me to say, go to Al's Garage for that. And knowing that, that I didn't serve my customer fully, I guess, and in the way that I think they should have been served.
So as a tire-focused company, how long ago did you make the big commitment to mechanical?
It was pretty soon after I got involved. I would say if I got involved in the business in 97, by 99, 2000, it was quick, seeing that just we can't be sending our customers away.
So you were a Wall Streeter.
A little bit. I was a grunt, trading desk. Yeah. I was the first job out of college. So I was not a big swinging Wall Street guy. Yeah. Yes, definitely GS.
It was a GS at Wall Street. That's really funny. And you told me we had a great chat, before we turned on the mics, but you never wanted to be in the business.
No, I didn't want to be in the family business. I worked one summer in the family business and, didn't like being the boss's son. I didn't like people looking at me differently, people thinking that things had been handed to me or given. I wanted to go out and prove my worth and prove that I could make my own way. So I was really determined to do that.
You and I one day have to just do an episode, me and you, about being an SOB. That's a son of boss, right? Because, proving it my own way. And, I came from an Italian family. I was the oldest son. I made some really interesting moves against that family thing. And every time I think about it, it brings up all these incredible good and then crushing memories of, did I make some right moves when I made them and stuff. So
it can be a lot of pressure,
especially when you're not getting the kind of direction. It seemed to me, and maybe it's time to talk about this for 30 seconds. Oh my God, you have my DNA. You should know everything I know. There wasn't a lot of direction, and you had to go out there and find your own point of the plow, attempt to make the kind of positive decisions and contributions to the business without dad or uncle saying, good job, kid. Yeah, these are great ideas, or run that by me before you do that the next time. It was almost like, just go do it.
Yeah. And two, when you think about it back, there was no Excel, there was no business software, there was no QuickBooks, there was no, the point of, everything was on paper. They didn't have the tools we had. So much was just on instinct, I think. And how much cash do I have in the bank? And then, what do my instincts tell me I need to be doing? So it was just a different, and then kind of we came along and I wanted data and I wanted to know what's the right way of running this business and how do I know I'm doing well or not? And so I really think we're fortunate to have all the business tools and ways of analyzing data today that my dad never had. You got to run your business off some data, right?
So your dad passed and you ended up being in the business.
My dad passed away suddenly. After working a few years in New York, I began to see what a career would look like, stretched out into my, 40s and 50s, and small town family business started to not look so bad. So unfortunately, my dad passed away and duty called. I came back and got involved with the business.
Hey, Carm here. Now, I bet we all know a shop owner, service advisor, or technician who has truly gone above and beyond in 2022 and who represents the best of the best. Now it's time to nominate them for the 3rd annual Apex Service and Repair Awards. Now, these awards will recognize a shop owner of the year, service advisor of the year, and technician of the year. An independent panel of shop owners will select the award recipients based on their commitment to training, as well as community, charitable, and industry involvement. Apex will honor and celebrate the award winners during the opening keynote address at Apex 2022 in November in Las Vegas. Hey, don't wait. Nominations are due by August 31st. To nominate your outstanding industry leader, go to aapexshow.com/service awards. Now, I know you know an outstanding shop owner, service advisor, or technician who's gone above and beyond this year. aapexshow.com/service awards. Nothing tells a customer they need a new part faster than when they see a worn or broken one in their hands. Now, how do you do that in the digital age? Well, it's actually very easy. Thanks to DVX, you can send photos and videos within its messenger platform. It's like nothing else you've ever seen in an auto repair SMS before. Take the best of an Amazon-like experience and use it in your shop to show customers how great you are. DVX also makes it easy for customers to drop you a quick text or answer in the messenger bubble that arises from the repair order. It's like magic. Customers love seeing what they need to do and giving you a quick answer. You'll see your business's potential right in front of you. Your customers get on with their day, and you get back to the repair. Everybody wins. It's time. Take it from me. GetShopware.com. Your website is a testament to your culture. There wasn't any place that I could go that I didn't see the Drive Happy theme, including a mural. You just got to go to Chapel Hills Tire. I saw it, and then when you explained it to me, that graphic, and I said, well, that's really a wild graphic, Drive Happy. He says, it's a real mural on one of our buildings. And to me, that's a testament to allow someone to come in and say, hey, knock yourself out, spray paint.
Yeah, well, we got excited for that project. We are very proud of, our work happy, drive happy culture. And so, yeah, there was an artist who was a mural artist who was getting a lot of attention and doing really cool stuff. And so we sort of gave her carte blanche and said, what can you do here? And she came up with that. And she also came up with this great smiley face emoji mural that's on our Carver location.
For job opportunities, you have all the jobs that are available at all 9 stores, which is really, really nice. And why work for Chapel Hill Tire? And it starts bringing your values in. And then you basically list for a technician exactly what the pay and the compensation plan is. There's not too many people that would put that right out front, and basically you're qualifying a candidate.
We want to be as transparent as possible. We feel like we have something special to offer both employees and customers. And, we talk about trying to create a work happy, drive happy movement. Work doesn't have to suck.
Yeah, no, work can be fun.
Work can be absolutely fulfilling. You can work at a place where people care for you, where you're cared for, where you do a good job, and it's a high performance culture, but you still have fun. Our whole culture is built on the premise that employees are going to only treat customers up to the level they're treated. And so if you want to have great customer experiences, you got to have employees who are rested and feel cared for. And therefore, if the company's going the extra mile for them, they'll go the extra mile for their customers.
It's a great premise. How do you pull this all together? I mean, go back X number of years where you really said, this is the constitution that we need to be building ourselves around. For other shop owners that are out there that hear our podcast, hear about culture, what we believe in, what we do, who we are, and they just don't know how to pull the first lever.
Yeah. Well, first, I think you've got to articulate and define the culture. Culture exists when a group of people get together, and whether or not you are driving it or not, you've got a culture at your shop, right? And the idea is what's good about your culture now that you want to keep and articulate. And then what about that vision you had when you first opened your store and you said, I'm going to be an entrepreneurial business owner and my shop is going to look like this. And you end up getting into the work things, and all of a sudden, maybe you're sitting there looking around and it's not what you envisioned when you first started. But what is it about? You've got to be able to articulate, what do you want it to be? What is that? Your business sitting on a hill with the sky coming through and the clouds parting. What does that look like? And how do you articulate that? Where do you want to go with your business? And so you've got to articulate your values. You've got to articulate, it can't just be people coming in for a wage and expect that people want to belong to something. So what do you want to create that they want to belong to? What do you want to create that employees want to belong to and be a part of? You got to write it out. And so once you articulate it, and it's not like it comes out perfect the first year or so. We noodled on our values.
Let me stop you there. You say we noodled. I want to drill down a little bit. Was it you? Was it the leadership? Was it your sister and brother? Was it the team, the leadership team? Did you just sit down and says, we got to keep going on this and keep going on this?
It started with me. Somebody's got to go first, right? And sort of lay out what describes this place. And then with my leadership team, we iterated on it. Does this feel right? Does this sound right? Does this capture who we are? And over time, you move words around or change things here and there, but ultimately it comes out and we really feel like we nailed it. But it doesn't stop there. First you got to articulate it, but then you need to install routines around it that reinforce your culture. It just can't be the picture on the wall and expect people to live them because it's on a wall. You got to have routines that help drive the culture.
Here's your set of values. Strive for excellence. Treat each other like family. Say yes to customers and each other. Be grateful and helpful and win as a team. And I've always thought and known this set of values, you can literally guide an individual in your company. You can go out and say, look at Charlie, be grateful and helpful. We got a problem with that today. You didn't kind of demonstrate exactly what was important. So let's talk about it. And it helps people work their way into being sure they're a contributor and they fall under.
And we talk about when it's a gray situation, you're not sure what the right thing to do is, just let the values answer the question for you. Don't go talk to a manager. You don't need to ask for help. Let the values guide you and you'll be fine. And then if the manager says, well, why the heck did you do it that way? You can say, look, I was just trying to be grateful and helpful.
Do your customers come in and say, this place is a happy place?
Yes. What we get a lot, if you read our reviews, is that friendly comes out a lot. Friendly, professional, helpful, went the extra mile for me, those types of things.
Tell me about the dealership versus the mechanic. Where should I get my car serviced? I mean, you guys are doing a lot of that stuff.
Oh, you mean our blogs and that type of thing? We feel that mechanic near me is a higher used search term than technician. And so we are in those instances trying to talk to the customer in the ways that the customer thinks of it.
So what's a trend? I mean, you're president of the association. What are you talking to the team about?
So workforce development on the association side is the big items that we're working on. The ASTA has a very strong apprenticeship program, and North Carolina has a really cool apprenticeship program that allows kids coming out of high school to join an apprenticeship program, and they can go part-time to community college, say the Automotive school there, and then also work part-time at, say, a place like Chapel Tire. And they get paid for when they work with us. And the state pays their community college tuition. So they're able to get hands-on experience at the same time that they're getting the classroom experience. And, we make a commitment to grow them, expose them to certain jobs, and keep kind of their career moving forward. At the end of it, like a 3-year program, you've got a kid who's been very deliberate about wanting to get into this business, and they've done both the hard work of working hands-on and working in the classroom. And we've probably got 5 apprentices right now, but the ASTA is the sponsor. They create sort of the framework or curriculum for how the partners with the state. So workforce development is big at both the association level and internally, because we're trying to figure out how to, as quickly as possible, move entry level, say general service technicians to technicians. And that's one of the things that actually helps us from a recruiting standpoint, is that we've got a career path. There's no dead end jobs here. And as we continue to grow and expand, it just creates more opportunity. With our culture, we only want to hire within. We only want to promote from within. It's just fantastic to be a part of, because you see people bettering themselves because they've done the hard work, or they've gotten their ASEs and they've allowed us to train them and move them forward. So it's really special.
Thank God for your 5 apprentices, but you should probably have 100.
I would take 100 if we can find them. Yeah.
What do we have to do? I mean, as an association, as peers in the industry that have an apprentice, that realize the power and the value of growing our own, because if we don't, it is the only solution, I think, to the Great Resignation, this shortage, however you want to color it. And how many people that I know in the industry, and I know maybe a couple of feet and handfuls worth. And again, there may be 500 in the industry that are doing apprenticing with all kinds of associations, all kinds of programs, but we should have 10,000 across the country, apprentices.
I think we're in the early stages of it, but it is happening. And I think that at least in this area of North Carolina, you've got community colleges that are building nice new automotive facilities for the community college students to engage them in. We have two really nice brand new Wake Tech Community College. I think it was like a $50 million project.
I am so impressed. I'm on advisory board of our local 2-year school, and we're going through all kinds of budget issues. And it was a building we want to buy and retrofit. And all of a sudden, I don't know if there was this great exodus from the 2-year, skilled trades, but it's exciting to know that in North Carolina, they're investing. And I think someone who had a vision realized skilled trades probably a big part of our future.
Absolutely. To your point earlier that not only what does it take to get them to come into the field earlier, we're talking, and the talk is more and more of, we got to hit them in middle school. The Bill Crabtree with Alamance Community College was talking the other week that just like college basketball coaches go and visit the families of kids who show talent early on, his staff is going out and talking to the families of potential students early in like middle school, just because you have to convince the parents that this is a worthy career, that this is, the parents have to get behind it. And the parents and everybody's been programmed for 4-year colleges, and they're just missing out on the great opportunities that are available in the trades.
I did an interview with Andy Fifik from Ohio, maybe a month ago now, and it was really kind of all about what you're talking about. And he will be the first to volunteer, the first to go to a school, the first to want to talk. And that is in the middle school arena about a career in the automotive. And let me be facetious for a moment. Let us stop for a moment. Let's write the talking points out for every shop owner. So see, now here's the agenda. Go in and talk about it. I don't need that, Carm. Exactly right. You could go in and you could just talk to the world about what the automotive is, what skilled trades are, that if someday you're going to wear a lab coat and have a tablet in your hand, you're going to fix cars. You're going to make them run right, better, faster. You're going to keep them on the road. And to me, there's so much passion from a owner, from a technician to want to get in front of young people and say, I'm the coolest career possible if you want to play with high tech. You can't do a brake job unless you high tech it today. So the point is, we keep talking about it. And yet, I think it's moving slowly, Mark, because of guys like you and associations like you and the apprentice program that you have. But they're never going to become, as you say, mainstay in the future if we don't water those plants now.
Yeah. And what I found too, Carm, is that when you go out to the high school, if there's an automotive program in your local high school, they're desperate. They are looking for people to serve on their advisory boards, to get involved with them. It's not that great of a commitment. I know everybody's busy and time is short, but one, it's the kind of thing you can do that will give back to you because you're working to help kids, figure out what they want to do with their lives. But at the community college level or the high school level, there's ways to get involved that really are not that demanding on your time. And you'll find it, I think, rewarding and fulfilling to do it.
Well, I sure do want to go preach in there, but I'm passionate just like you are about this. And I always, every time I do an episode and I say, oh, maybe I was a little too over the top. And then I say, if I got one person to decide to do this, then I guess it was worth it. And I say this because, thousands and thousands of people will listen to this thing. And I just want them to realize it's really all about you. The future of our industry is all about the shop owner, the technician. It's all about them.
And I'll tell you too, I've been to the community college classes. I've talked to classes on what it's like to operate or run an independent. I got to be honest with you. Some of the kids are on their phone the whole time. Some of the kids are sleeping in class. But a year or two later, you'll meet a kid who says, I remember when you came to talk to my class. And they're fully engaged in the industry now and they're doing things. So like you said, you touch one or two and it makes a difference.
You and I could go on and on, but I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop and say to the audience, did we give you enough to motivate and get you out there? Hey, let's talk about ASTE coming up.
It is going to be great. It's already lots of people signing up for what looks like a great cohort of teachers and classes coming on. I think you'll see the blending too of like the TIA, Tire Industry Association classes. You'll see the blending of NCTDA and IGO coming together here. We're trying to offer something for everybody.
Yeah, I saw that. Great leadership, great marketing, great technology, and even tire classes. I mean, if you want to get motivated to sell more tires, you got a class for that.
Yeah. This particular event on the East Coast, you get North Carolina Southern hospitality coming down, and it's a little more laid back, but really great opportunities to network with other shop owners, to network with the trainers that are there. It is a great energy at this event. Really good vibe there.
It'll be my fourth year, I think, coming up this year. So looking forward to it, to, have the podcast studio walk away with a lot of great episodes. That's what we're charged to do in this industry. We were talking trends a little earlier. I'd love to, just kind of soapbox this with you a little bit about training. I know you have a commitment to training, a huge commitment to training to your people, and you pay for their training.
We do.
I think it's at least, 40 hours minimum that you say that you need to have from your people?
Yeah. And really, it's an unlimited training budget. If we don't say no to people who say, I want to go do this class. I mean, we do everything from service advisor training. We work with Steve Ferrante, Pinnacle Performance, for service advisor training. We have the tech training. Really cool. One thing that we offer is our ASE master techs do lunch and learns on the ASE test preps via Teams or Zoom. And our younger techs who are trying to get their ASEs, and we'll actually buy lunch if you want to sit in on the class. But, like once a month, we'll do some ASE test prep classes. And so the master tech they'll go through the tests and just say, okay, in this test, here's what you need to look for in this question. Here's where they're trying to trip you up a little bit, or here's what you need to think about, and get good dialogue going on. We get the people on the Zoom who wants to answer this question. Which one is it? Is it A, B, C, or D? And then why? That's the stuff that fulfills my heart the most, is seeing people internally give back, because techs can have, a reputation sometimes as being a little crusty or salty dogs, but seeing them care about really trying to help the team get better and help these younger guys get better. It's really, really fulfilling.
Mark, do you keep a learning resume or a training resume on your people?
No, but we've talked about doing that. Yeah.
I wrote a blog this week. It was the email that went out. The blog will be up on my website in a couple of days on training as a strategic pillar in your business.
We do. We have a position called associate tech, and that's the tech that's trying to bridge going from GS to a technician.
Perfect.
And we do have a list of jobs that they need to make sure that they've completed or worked on, that the manager does look at and says, okay, you haven't done a timing belt yet, let's get you to do a timing belt, or make sure that they're doing AC work. Make sure that they're doing, replacing alternators and that type of thing. Yeah.
The name of the class, the name of the instructor, where it was it daytime, nighttime? Was it, leader-led? Was it online? Who paid for it? And when you look at that resume by technician, you could literally call it up, sort it a bunch of different ways, and look at how many times have they been to this class. Well, it's been 3 years. A lot of tech has changed. We recommend, or we'll look for and find, or it looks like there's 6 or 7 of us in the team, and you may want to bring in a trainer.
Yeah.
As a pillar, it's like we have a coach, we have accountant, we have KPIs, we have marketing strategies. Why shouldn't training be there as a strong part of the strategy of the company going forward? And I know for you it is. And I'm really trying to convince, based on so many interviews I've been doing lately, where training has been a very large component of the discussion. It's almost like I'm sick and tired of talking and asking, do you pay for training? Well, it's to the point where training has to be up there with the pillar of profitability, and it needs to be paid for. It needs to have a minimum requirement as far as the number of hours. and you have to work as hard as you can to get daytime so you can get your money's worth.
I had a discussion with my director of HR this morning about, we were sort of visioning about, are we there yet? And we're certainly getting close of having a full-time in-house trainer. And part of their role is to have some sort of assessment process on the skills of everybody, every technician in the shop, and their strengths are and where their weaknesses are, and work to push them and guide them along. And so what you're talking about there is sort of right in line with sort of the vision of, and, do we do the training? What training do they need? Can we do it internally? Can we tap? Is there a technician who wants to give back, who has a specialty in this area who can work with? Or do we need to reach outside the organization and pull somebody who specializes in this in?
Boy, I can imagine one of your, heavy diag guys or ladies could literally teach a production apprentice, or however we classify ABC techs, and opinions on that too. Because, you got an A mechanical and an A diagnostics. Can't imagine that an A tech would always be the diag guy. We did a show on what's the meaning of A, B, and C. But yeah, glad to hear that you're doing that. Those assessments are out there. And more coaching companies, the bigger ones, are putting together, not only are they teaching service advisor training and leadership, now they're bringing on mechanical training. They're contracting out with the great trainers of our industry. So I'm thrilled to see that we have so accepted, at least the top 20% in our industry, that training is one of the most important pillars in the organization.
It's a must-have now, I think, if you're going to be competitive.
So what's next for Chapel Hill Tire?
Well, we're continuing to try to grow locations and expand. I did want to, if it's okay, follow back up with you just on the culture talk, because I could talk culture with you for days. But one of the things that I talked about was having, it's not just a sign on the wall. It's got routines. It's got routines around it. And so what are the routines that you're going to do that reinforce these values? And just want to share something that we do is every week, one of our values is the value of the week. And every morning at every store, even with my admin team, before we start the day, there's a huddle. And that huddle starts out with, all right, guys and gals, what's the value of the week? How do we live it? And somebody's got to answer that question. And it may be that I saw Johnny, this week's value is strive for excellence. And I say, well, I saw, Johnny helping Shane work on a car. He was struggling, but he was showing Shane the right way to do it. And that's striving for excellence. So, okay, that's great. Or we use Slack as a communication tool. And so it could be times there's routines where, you just see somebody living values, you take a picture and you post about, here's, William staying late to help a customer who came in with an emergency. He's being grateful and helpful. So you have these ways of reinforcing. So even when we start, we don't start a meeting without saying, what's the value of the week and how do we live it? Then you reinforce it with all the positive aspects of seeing people who, when they do something right, you make sure you celebrate it.
What a great idea to post someone living the values. That is genius. I mean, there's a lot of people that have internal communication systems. I love Slack. We use Slack here in the company. How do we live our values? It's just brilliant. Does everyone in the huddle have to bring an example forward?
No, just one person can speak up. But I do have a store, their huddle, everybody has to fill out on a piece of paper somebody they saw living the value the day before. And so they turn it in, I think, and the manager will read one, or they'll go around the huddle and people say, what did you witness yesterday with somebody living the values? Which I like that one too.
You have a huddle every morning?
Every morning. We talk about previous day's numbers. They talk about what's coming in today. Mr. Johnny's going to be tied up on Mr. Jones's Audi for the day, so don't book him. And, that kind of just communication. Is there any equipment that needs servicing? Are we low on any particular inventory items that somebody's noticed that we're missing, that we need to, that kind of thing. But just bring the team together. Guys, we did really well on tires and yesterday, but alignments weren't keeping up pace with the number of tires that we got. Let's make sure we keep an eye on alignment. So let's make sure we're keeping an eye on maintenance services, that type of thing.
And everybody, technicians, ABCs, service advisors, store manager, everybody's involved.
Everybody's got to be there. Yep. It takes 15 minutes.
Good stuff. Marc Pons, Chapel Hill Tire, 9-store location in Chapel Hill, Durham, Raleigh, and Apex, North Carolina. And we'll also for sure see you at ASTE.
Can't wait.
Thanks, Marc.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time.